Hi, I'm Renee Jayne, here to illuminate health and truth and guide you home to yourself. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to this video. Make sure you watch this if you are detoxing off of sugar or any artificial sweetener or soda or anything like that. I am going to discuss some things that most people don't talk about that are beyond the physical realm of physical symptoms that we experience, because I think if we don't talk about these things that I'm going to share, we're kind of missing the boat on how to make this life practice a sustainable one. Because let's face it, our sugar detox is a lot about our mental, emotional, and even our spiritual health. One thing I'm also going to talk about at the end of this video is something called the Empowered No. It's a practice that I work closely with our clients and people in our community around. So what you're going to find is that we choose through self-responsibility our health daily. And so a lot about this work, it's really about an identity. It's an identity of like noticing, who do I want to be in my body now? So if you're judging anybody who doesn't eat sugar, or you're judging people who eat healthy and you kind of think they're weird or whatever that might be, I want you to pay attention to that, because if you don't want to be like them, then on a like unconscious basis, you will be avoiding making this sustainable, because you consciously don't, or you don't want to be like them, and so you will consciously create a situation where you're not. And I want you to also think about this as a one day at a time thing. If you think about this as a long-term, oh my God, I got to give this up for months and months, it's going to feel so overwhelming and you're not going to want to do it. There's a reason why one day at a time works for 12-step programs, and it works for sugar recovery too. So this is a mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, holistic system. And what we want is we want this quality of energy in our life, energy that comes from our cells. And I know you want more energy. I know this about you because I know that everybody does. I don't think anyone doesn't want more energy. The problem though is that our culture has been teaching us I want to call it a fake energy. We've been taught culturally to use substances or pills or to get the quick fix, the magic pill. And we haven't wanted to face sometimes the pain of not having the thing. We don't want to face the withdrawal. And by the way, I have another video on withdrawal from sugar. It's linked below this video if you want to check that out, because it's a very good counterpart to this video. But back to your cells. So you have trillions of cells in your body. I don't know if you knew that, but you literally have an entire universe inside of you, which is kind of cool. And when you think about this universe inside of you, you think about this health. Health comes down to the quality of your cells. The more quality your cells, the more movement they have, the better you're going to feel. So when you have sugar, artificial stuff coming in, you have processed packaged foods, you have a huge inflammatory response from these things. You are more sluggish, you feel more slow, and your physical body is in more of an addictive place. So when we give off this energy, we are detoxing off sugar. It's mostly because we want to have clean stuff coming into our cells. And we want to feel like we have more energy, legit, right? And so the key here to remember is that when we have water, we're first starting out, we're trying to give our body more nutrients, we're trying to give ourselves more good food, because we're not going to feel like we have a lot of energy at the very beginning. You're just not. So it's important to remember like why you're doing this. You're trying to get to the other side, and you can't hate on sugar while you do it. It is a highly addictive substance, and that we do have very little willpower over it. And this is really about noticing that we don't have power over our addiction to it or our obsession with the thought around eating it. And so there's this mental, emotional aspect of us that can become dependent on the behavior of having it. And it's even more so the behavior than its actual substance. I'll get to that more in a minute. I'm going to teach you a pretty cool thing right now, and it's really a visualization practice. And I know it seems so simple, but what I want to do is invite you to visualize your experience and to view it from behind your own eyes. So sometimes we view ourselves as like an observer, like see us over there. But I actually want you to practice viewing yourself from behind your own eyes. So like be in your body. Maybe close your eyes if you need to. Visualize yourself 10 days from now. You're completely off sugar. you're jumping up and down, you have energy, you have this joy within you, you feel more free, you know that you can take on anything, you've learned that like when I say I'm going to do something, I can do it, you trust yourself in a new kind of way, you realize you weren't perfect, but you still showed up. Like try this, be in your body, see if you can experience not only the visualization from behind your own eyes of already accomplishing what you want to accomplish, but see if you can feel it in your physical body. It's quite powerful. And for, I don't know about you, but I actually need to do this kind of visualization on a daily basis. It's not like a one and done thing for me. So it perhaps might be something that you do on a daily basis. But if you're viewing yourself from behind your own eyes, you're viewing yourself as somebody who's capable, who's trustable, who is in this identity of a more like healthy, robust system, then you're going to find that it's much easier for you. This is the mental component of this work, to keep showing up for yourself. And it's powerful. All right, so the next thing that I want to get to, if I haven't mentioned it, drink a lot of water. Just drink a lot of water. Like I have my water sitting here. I don't know if you can see that in the screen or not. But sugar's been this fake energy. It's been this short-lived energy. And so what we want to do is we want to hydrate our cells. We want to remember that healing is a life of pure energy. So what we're doing is we are inviting ourselves into a quote-unquote waiting room for a period of time, where the option is to have little or no sugar or no soda, and this option's now taken away, but we have other options to choose from, other things that we get to do. So in this waiting room, it's almost like a sacred place for you. It's a metaphor, of course, but if you allow this time to be this waiting, then it will really impact you, and it can really catapult you and initiate you into the next phase in your life. In 2002, when I was getting off of sugar for the first time, I was reading this book by a woman named Sue Monk Kidd, and it's called When the Heart Waits. And I want to read what she said about this topic of waiting. So I'm going to wait here for just a minute and get this quote. So waiting, it means descending into self, into God, into the deeper labyrinths of prayer. It involves listening to disinherited voices within, facing the wounded holes in the soul, the denied and undiscovered, the places one lives falsely. It means struggling with the vision of who we really are in God and in molding the courage to live that vision. So you prove to yourself as you step forward into this that you can trust you, to hold your feelings and emotions, to hold you in your system no matter what happens, even if you goof up, that you can keep going, right? You notice it with curiosity. The goof up is just information. You might share it with someone that you trust. You might out yourself, and then you give yourself so much compassion. You give yourself so much compassion. You're not shaming yourself about it. You just step up and you begin again and you begin again. And I want to now transition this into the empowered no. And the empowered no is something that I learned years ago when I was on my beginning journey with sugar. But I want to give you a little context about the empowered no. So there is this idea around sugar that first of all, it's not really just an idea. It is a proven physical thing that it impacts our taste buds. And so at the very beginning of giving up sugar, your taste buds are going to want sugar, and that's normal. And like I mentioned to you, we're in this proverbial waiting room where we're trying to not eat it, and yet we want to eat it. And what happens is that we have been using this substance. I'm calling it sugar because for many of us that's what it is. But it could be a soda, it could be artificial sweeteners, it could be a packaged processed food, it might even be alcohol. Alcohol turns into sugar. But we've been using this thing to kind of help us through. And even if you're not conscious of it, I guarantee you that that's been an undercurrent. It's not so much even about the thing, even though we do have a physical addiction to it. It's more about the behavior of us choosing that as our thing, as our we'll call it our higher power or our God, or as the thing that's going to help us get through this moment. And if that's been the case for us, then we haven't been very empowered. We've kind of been giving our power away to this thing. We've been using it as a crutch or as a version of our parent or our God, if you will. And I know that seems kind of big in terms of an idea, but I bet if you sat with it long enough, you might start to see that that's been the case for you. And so when I talk about this empowered no, it comes down to those moments in your day, which there could be a lot of them. For some of us, the moments are late at nighttime when everyone else has gone to sleep, and we wake up and we're like sneaking into the kitchen to find what we're going to eat. Or we get up to go to the bathroom and we find that, oh, maybe I'm hungry for something, and we go eat it. Or it could be that you're that person who emotionally eats, and so there's certain times in your life when you eat a lot, and then there's other times that you don't. And it also could mean that you are somebody who consistently hides the candies in your drawer, or you always have something that you're snacking on throughout the day. Everyone's so different. So whatever your situation is, this tool, the Empowered No, is there to empower you to give yourself a lot more compassion. So the other piece of context before I share it with you is that if we are in a situation, we're about to eat the thing, okay? We'll just say brownies for an example. We're about to eat the brownies, and maybe we even eat them, right? Either way, we want to eat them or we eat them. There's an old voice within you that is highly critical. There's an old voice in you that is super judgmental, one that is more like the punisher within you, the one that shames you and guilts you, and then, like, oh, we always self-sabotage, right? And it goes on and on and on. See, I knew I couldn't do it. And whatever the story is, it just builds and builds and builds and builds. Now, this part of you is what I want to reference as a child, like a wounded child, an aspect of you. I'm not calling you a child, by the way, but we all have a child within us, this inner child, and the inner child that never actually got the opportunity to process through tough emotion, never got the opportunity to be held or felt like they were in a safe place when they had really big feelings. And so what we learn to do is we learn to use food or sugar to help us feel or process through those uncomfortable or big feelings. And so what's happening is the moment that child has big feelings and they don't know what to do with them, and then they eat the brownies, and then we come in and shame them, we're like in this horrible addiction cycle. That's what's happening. It's like I feel a craving. I have the craving. I feel really good after I have it. Brownies taste delicious, right? So then we feel really good. And then after they feel really good, we start to feel like the little high from the sugar. And then what happens is then we come back around to the other side of the cycle where we start shaming and blaming and feeling bad. And then when we feel bad, guess how much more susceptible we are to going right back into the cycle again and again and again. And so what the Empowered No does, and the reason why I had to give this context, is it helps break the addiction cycle. So in the moment when you're about to eat the thing, or you're even like opening the fridge and you're just searching, like, I know I want something, I just don't know what. In those moments, what I want you to do is, this is mental talk for yourself. You say, you know what, you can have that thing if you want to. You can absolutely have the cookie. You can have the brownies if you want, but what if we just chose not to today? What if just for today we chose to do something else? What else could we find that's still delicious, but it's not going to be the same, of course, but is there just something else we could do for today? What you're doing in that moment, I know it sounds so simple, but what you're doing is you're like honoring that there's a little child in you that wants something, that has a craving, and you're saying you can have it if you want to. But what if today we did something different? It's almost like how you parent your kids, hopefully, right? Ideally, is like, yeah, we can do XYZ if you want to today, but what if we did this instead and we just did this another day? And you might need to do this multiple times in a day. I know that I did, and I have, right? Like this is a practice for us. But what happens is that when we come from this place of empowerment of like, you can have it if you want to, but today you're going to choose differently, then this more empowered place is going to lead you into healthier choices. If you come at it like rigid and sugar is bad and you can't have that and it's horrible, or it's a deeper one, probably even more common, it's resentful. So and so told me I had to give this up. We blame our doctor, we blame our health practitioner, we blame our parents, we blame whoever we can blame, because we don't want to take any responsibility for ourselves, right? And so if we come from this resentful, I can't have it, then and we push it away, we might be able to last like that for a little while, but guess what's going to happen? We're going to come right back and we're going to go crazy with the sugar. We're going to really rebel, and we're going to have as much of it as we possibly can. So the empowered no is this opportunity to practice honoring that you want it. Tell yourself you're free to have it. I'm not going to tell you no, because if I say no, you're just going to want it more. And yet, what if today, just for today, we chose to do something different? What if today I chose to do something different? What if today I just make a slightly different choice and I get to the next moment and see what happens next? And then when I get to that moment, I see what happens next. And after we get to, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but it's anywhere from 3, maybe 6 days for our individual. Everyone's a little bit different. We start to become a human being who is past the withdrawal of sugar and artificial sweeteners. We start to become someone whose taste buds have changed. We start to feel more free in our soul. We start to feel like we have more energy. We feel really good. It's almost like food tastes different because the sugar has been numbing out our taste buds for so long that food actually lost its deliciousness. So if you have any questions at all, or you have any experience with this, or you liked this video, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please share below so we can stay in conversation. This is a big topic, and it does, in my opinion, require a lot of support and community. The other thing is, if you like this video, please like it. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that little notification button so you can be the very first person to hear when new weekly videos come out. And finally, if you do need any support on this topic, I want to share with you about the 18-day Love Yourself Naked eating plan and cleanse. I've been doing this for over, 12, 13, 14 years now. And it is a eating plan and cleanse that is like, well, just read the reviews. So many of my clients have adored this cleanse, and we have so many people who keep coming back and back and back. So it's really a supportive tool for you to have a structure, a lot of support, and a great environment while you do it. And then also a strategy on how to healthfully detox off of something like sugar and what that cleansing looks like in your body, combined with a sustainable eating plan that is unique to you, because nobody is like you. So you need something that's going to help you get to know yourself. So if that sounds like a fit, it's a low price option, but it's so powerful. Check out the 18-day Love Yourself Naked eating plan and cleanse. That's linked below, as well as on my website. And I also do pair that up with one-on-one coaching. I have limited spaces for one-on-one coaching, but if you do need support, reach out. And I so appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video.